India today is nothing but a harmonious blending of the best of the traditional Indian spiritual and cultural and the best of modern Western scientific and technology. How can you be scientifically advanced, as efficient, as professional, as competent as Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, at the same time have the heart and mind of an Indian Rishi? You know, Shankaracharya, he defines Rajarshi. Imam vivasude yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivaktvan manave praha manhu ikshakave apravid evam parampara praptam imam Rajarshyo viduh sakalena iha mahada yogo nashta parantava. This is from the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 1st and 2nd verses. Excuse me, if I quote too much of Sanskrit, you can ask me to stop, and I can avoid that. I can perhaps refer to modern works. I have no problem. Now, Shankaracharya uses one word, interesting word, Rajarshi. Plato in his Republic uses one word, philosopher king. Now, who is a Rajarshi? Shankaracharya says, Rajanascha Rishayascha Rajarshaya. A person who has the competence, the efficiency, the dynamism, and the professionalism, and the success, prosperity of a king, and at the same time a calm, contemplative nature of a sage. Such a person is called Rajarshi. That was the great ideal of an ideal administrator, an ideal modern man that Plato actually talks about in the Republic. There is one small commentary called Shankarananda Saraswati's Tika. Tika means a close, a short knot and impartial. He says, Rajitvam Aishwarya Sambhati Rishitvam Tasyaha Surksmartha Darsana Kshamatvam. What is a king or who is a king? A king corresponds to prosperity, success, efficiency, power, ability, material ability, professional ability, the ability of an executive of a Bill Gates, or maybe you may say modern times, at least some of you may agree with me, a prime minister in today's conditions. An example. Now, with that, can you have the calm and quiet serenity of a sage? Such a person is called Rajarshi. So, Rishitvam Tasyaha Sukshmartha Darsanakshamata means you should have the prosperity, all material prosperity you can have. At the same time, you should know where prosperity stops, what more is required. The ability to look beyond success in the material sense of it. That's what you find in Silicon Valley, where I am coming from now. San Francisco is the center of Silicon Valley. If you go there, you'll understand. Maybe some of you may be going there in a few years. You find many Indians, young Indians of your age, who may be slightly older than you, who have read one word of Vivekananda. He's proud of Indian heritage, Indian culture, Indian tradition. At the same time, he's an old conservative orthodox person. You know, Indian conservatism has got a bad name. Not now, till 30 years ago. 2% growth rate. This characteristic of India maybe till 30, 40 years ago. And people used to laugh at Indians. Today it's different. Indians are the most efficient, the most successful, materially more successful, professionally more successful. They're successful in their organizational skill, leadership skills. At the same time, they're proud of their roots, they're proud of their culture. So that's what we need today. So if you can read Vivekananda, what Vivekananda tells us is this: you should have all the good things of modern science and technology. Success, prosperity, business, material wealth, everything. At the same time, don't look for them sacrificing your own roots, your own culture. In America, I found something very interesting. Many of my friends, professors, teaching in Stanford, I was teaching in Stanford. Every week we used to have class for English. of it. Now it's online. So you find the foundational text of Indian philosophy, which I'm continuing giving classes every week, every Sunday, 6 p.m. American time and San Francisco time. You can see that. Now, many of those who attend these sessions are Americans. Many Americans tell me that whenever they find an Indian coming from India, an Indian student, those of your age group, coming to America, and when they tell Americans, I'm like you, I don't care for India. India is an old, poor, backward, socially, economically, technologically backward country. Americans have only content for it. If an American asks you, do you know anything about yoga? That's your precious treasure that no other country can claim. Do you know anything about Bhagavad Gita? Do you know anything about Vedic heritage? If an Indian tells American, we don't care for it, and we would rather be like you, they won't respect you. They respect you only if you are proud of your own roots. They respect you only if you are proud of your own home, your own backyard. Suppose you are a very rich person, and a poor man comes to your home and tells you, well, I want to live with you. I don't care for my home. You won't allow him to enter your sitting room. On the other hand, if he has got his own palatial home, his own money, if he has a very good home of his own, then you may invite him to your drawing room. So when we have something to be proud of, not fanaticism or jingoism or what we call national fanaticism, but justified sense of pride of our own tradition, our own culture, our own spiritual home, then Americans will respect you. This is something very interesting. Americans will not respect you if you don't have respect for your own culture. They won't care damn for it. On the other hand, if they think you are proud of your own culture, you know something about yoga, if you can quote a few words from Vivekananda or Mahatma Gandhi, any great man India produced, then they respect you. So what we need today is a harmonious synthesis of the best of the modern with the best of the traditional. This was what Swami Vivekananda taught us. When you talk about Swami Vivekananda's contribution, I don't know how many of you have read the first lecture of Swami Vivekananda. He gave a lecture in the year 1893, September 11. If any of you, suppose you study for elocution competition, or if you introduce the subject for an elocution competition in a primary school, a student will finish it within 6 minutes. So a lecture which will last only for 6 minutes became a turning point in the history of interfaith dialogue. Today you can see all over India, and even BBC recently, a few months ago, held a interfaith dialogue. I myself have participated in WCC interfaith dialogues, World Council of Churches interfaith dialogues representing BBC. This all started because one Vivekananda spoke about India's spiritual, cultural toleration. If you read Swami Vivekananda's first lecture, Swamiji talks about the early migration of the Jews from Israel in the 4th century BC, when the Jerusalem temple was destroyed, synagogue was destroyed. The Israeli Jews migrated to India, 4th century BC. In 71 AD, when the Masada was destroyed by the Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar, it was the Roman 10th legion attacked Masada, and that was the last stand of the Jewish people against foreign invasion. They again came to India. So today, if you go to Cochin, the state I happen to be coming from, there's a synagogue which is the second oldest synagogue in the world. You can still go to Cochin and set your foot on the place where in 71 AD a Hindu Raja handed over to Jews a place where they could build their temple. These people were persecuted, they were subject to genocides all over the world, but India gave them protection. Swamiji refers to that. Second reference Swamiji mentions is the coming of the Christians in 54 AD. And again the Parsis. In 7th century, the Parsis migrated from today's Iran, that is Persia. And in Gujarat, if you go, that's a place where the Parsis landed. This Jamshedji Tata is a successor of those people. Now, this tradition of welcoming, opening the doors and windows to all different traditions of the world, it is something that Hinduism can be proud of. That's what Swamiji refers to. So, Ekam Sat Vipra Bhagudha Vadanti, the Rigveda Samhita, the first mandala, 164th mantra, for the first sutta, it says, Indram Mitram Varunam Maktiraku Ado Divyasa Suparno Virudman Ekam Sat Vipraha Bhagudha Vadanti Agnim Yamam Matarishwanamahu Ekam Sat Vipraha Bhagudha Vadanti. Truth is one. It can be called, it can be defined in different traditions, in different languages. It can be called different names, but truth is one. Ye yathamam pravadyante tam sadaiva bhajameham mama varma anuvartante manushya partha sarvasya. This also Swamiji literally he translates in English in his first lecture. Means whatever path you are accepting, whatever tradition you are following, if you are a sincere, pure person, you can reach God. Whatever tradition, whatever religion you are practicing, the God's empire doesn't close before any. It is open to everyone. Then again, Ruchinam Vajitriat Vilchukudila Nana Putajusham Granamegu Kemis Tamasi Payasam Arnavaya. Some Shiva. Whatever may be the taste of a person, right or wrong, crooked or otherwise, all will reach the same goal. Different rivers entering the ocean, they lose their independent identities, they become one with the ocean. Now, this idea of universal spiritual brotherhood, the idea that humanity is one spiritual family, this was the great message that Vivekananda gave the world. And remember, today, if we go to any Western countries, if you can quote one word from Vivekananda, if there is something unique about the land you are born in, the culture of the land where you are born, if you are proud of that, then only you will be respected, then only you will be recognized as an equal human being. This is so what we need today is we have to draw this inspiration from Vivekananda. We should be able to combine these two streams of culture, science, technology, modern values, modern organizational genius, leadership skills, innovation. This is the innovation, the uniqueness of America. America leads the world in information technology because of innovation. Today, in Banaras University, if you invent something new, within a month, somebody will send you an email, an invitation to go to America, and you will get a green card in 3 months. Because anywhere in the world where people have something to contribute, they can go, they can have the freedom to start this innovation. All these we must imbibe. At the same time, we should not forget the roots. If you forget our roots, then a tree that loses its roots will collapse. So I didn't know what I should start with.